Hola. Hello, nerds. You get me, and me today. That's it. That's all you got. Me.
You think I'm locked in here with you? You're locked in here with me.
Welcome. Who you calling a nerd, dork? You, nerd. Everybody's week is headed to an amazing end. It is Friday. Friday. So what are you buying? I'm not the one that needs anything, so I'm a bad example for you, Mike. I don't know. I don't need anything except the pizza we ordered an hour and a half ago would be good. Because I haven't had any lunch on the day where I'm buying pizza for the whole freaking office. Everybody else is in there playing games. Jordan's off getting the pizza now, so hopefully he makes it back in one piece with some pizza. I don't think Jordan will be joining us on stream for anything other than to come in and bring me said pizza, hopefully. You really are just stuck with me today, gang. And Jen will hopefully be back at some point. She's taking Cord to the vet right now. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's just a madhouse. Everybody's out having fun, and I'm here working. Jeez. What's going on, everybody? I do need the death ray lens, Mike. That was your job from yesterday. So if that is incomplete, then that still needs to be handled. I feel like that's like one good solid trip to Goodwill away from being a thing, though, right? You will end up on a list, Mike. But I'll be on that list with you. So we're going down in flames together. It's fine. You have friends. You have friends. We got this. Bunch of cantankerous old guys Googling death laser. How to melt your neighbor's house. I'm glad my neighbors don't watch the stream. They'd be very upset with me. I have the type of neighbors that would literally worry, I think, about the fact that he's really going to melt our house. They'd call their Congress people and get a petition signed. I have very activist style neighbors who are active for all the wrong things. It's like they don't pay attention to real problems. They worry about whether or not people are able to put their large format trash out in the front or the back of their house. Vector, what's going on? Soccer, hello. I just want to pop their popcorn. Oh my gosh, that was right. It was like from the laser from the sky in Real Genius, wasn't it? And it loaded up and all the popcorn came flooding out of that 2-story house. Am I thinking of the right thing? Val Kilmer. feel like that's right. They've got a Blood Bowl game going on out there. Holy crap, it's getting crazy at Monument Hobbies today. Blood Bowl's being played. You know it's bad. Made you think working with lasers was going to be much cooler. Yeah, I know, right? And then you get them and you're like, I can't even see the thing. It doesn't make noises. There's no stormtroopers. Not what I paid for. Mike, it literally has like a Fresnel lens and has an image of people burning stuff with it. That's awesome. Donald Pipkin, what's going on? If you could only paint one Warhammer faction and picked it based on aesthetics, looks, fun, cool to paint, regardless of how they play, what would that faction be? That's a heck of a question, man. If I could only paint one Warhammer faction, something from the world of GW, 40k or fantasy, do I have that open? Is it sci-fi and fantasy? Or are we just talking fantasy? Ghost Hunter's calling Congress about the strangers that chat doesn't know about. The ones that are in there in the other room. Wad, what's going on? T. Schmidt, what's going on? You're stuck in here with me, man. It's Lonely Fuse Day. Lonely Fuse Day. Jen's got the dog at the vet. Baby Jay's having fun. Well, he's getting pizza right now, so maybe he's not having fun. He's probably stuck in traffic, but, you know. You know. And Vos like, hi, sorry I missed your wave. Waiting for Uncle Jason to tell me to buy a Death Ray lens. I did. Would a Fresnel lens concentrate energy into a solar panel? It'd probably burn the solar panel, unfortunately. It'd burn the silicon panel, right? Let's take fantasy and add sports ball to it for some reason. Wait, what? Did I get an answer on that one? Is it both? Yeah, either. Okay, Donald says either. Anything in the GW world, huh? If I could only paint one faction for rule of cool, basically. Oh, that's a tough one, right? What faction have I always wanted to paint that was never... Because I don't really play GW games much. So what faction would I want to paint that's the coolest? Right now, that's a hard time to ask me this question because I don't really care for anything GW is putting out right now. It's all fairly generic and lackluster. It's lost a lot of its nuance over the years. You know, I always have a soft spot in my heart for Space Marines, but the GW Space Marines are a little, like, boring to me right now. Primaris have become a little boring. Some of them are really cool. Tyranids are neat. Bretonians are cool for Old World. You know, vampire counts. The old vampire counts, they're not a thing, right? They're now Soulblight Gravelords and are a little different. They don't have all the units that I would like. That's a little rough. Same with Orcs and Goblins. The old Orcs and Goblins would be kind of bitching, right? Man, I don't know. That's a really good question. Like, what would I choose if you said you can have one faction, you know, you just handed it to me? What would it be? I'm looking at all the models over here to see, like, what would intrigue me to paint. Oh, man. One faction. Because I've already done all the ones I really like is the big problem. Probably, to be honest with you, like if I could really spend all the time in the world on it, probably Horus Heresy Admech. Believe it or not. I'm really a big fan of Horus Heresy Admech, including like Night Houses and Titanicus stuff, right? So I think that end of the world. Like if you could have the knights and the titans and the admech all together in the world of Horus Heresy, that's probably where I would go. Maybe. For you, for you, it would be Adeptus Mechanicum too. Okay, there you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah, see? Adeptus Mechanicum, both 4K. 40K, I'm not a big fan of. I don't think the 40K is as good, right? But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a fun question. Like, if we had to pick, like, what would I paint in a 40K realm, I think your other answer, Death Guard. Death Guard's great. I like Death Guard a lot. They have some fun models. So that might very well be my 40K answer right there. Horus Heresy, definitely AdMech, I think. Although it's hard to get away from, like, Mark II, Mark III Space Marine armor is really, really fun. That's what all of my 40K Blood Angels are all built at Primaris scale, but with Heresy armor, right? So being able to put both worlds together, because I think that this, like the Crusade armor style stuff, was just the best armor that was ever for Space Marines. I don't really like the new stuff. It doesn't look Baroque enough. It doesn't look like 40K that I have known for so long. Doesn't mean it's bad. It just looks different. It's too modernized now. And then in fantasy, it's tough, man, because I'm a big orcs, goblins, trolls guy. So I think I have to stick with orcs, goblins, trolls for whatever fantasy thing we're painting. And then, of course, Lord of the Rings. I really like Lord of the Rings. Like Gondor or Rohan, stuff like that. And Lord of the Rings would be bitching. So, I mean, there's armies in each of them that I would like. But if I had to just choose one, it would be Heresy AdMech for sure. The new AdMech plastic for 30K looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks exactly like the resin stuff, except for like the big Thanatar. They changed the sculpt on that guy, which is not great, but Mike, put away your pencil and paper. Put away that. I step away from the computer, Mike. Donald, yeah, definitely. I like that. That's a great question. Because I don't play as many GW games. Like, I just played my first game of Warcry back at, not too long back at Adepticon. And I had a lot of fun painting up the Ogre Maw tribe or Maw pack for Warcry. That was a lot of fun because it was speedier. I'm more of a paint guy. I'm in the hobby for the art more than for the game. So it's nice when I can complete a thought in a small skirmish method and still find a game that's really cool. And Warcry fit that bill. More so than anything I played recently, so that was fun. You're making an Iron Warrior Force for 40K using only Mark III armor? That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Because all of my stuff for my Blood Angels is like that. It's all using the old style fan jump packs for the Death Company, because they'd give all the super old armor to the Death Company guys because they're going to die anyway. And then the more modern, like Mark III, Mark IV stuff would be for the normal troops. And then I've got some of the older style Terminators, upsized, that are pretty cool. But I do have a couple of the newer style Terminators in there too. They're fun. But if I had it my way, everything would be Mark II, Mark III armor. That's my first love. Chachaco, you big fan of the big Chaos Demons? Nah. I'm over demons, man. The whole demonic thing gets old real quick. It's very one-dimensional. I don't know that it really... I mean, there are some cool models, don't get me wrong. I think the Angron model is cool. It just looks too much like just another Bloodthirster. I think they could have done something really, really cool with Angron, and they chose to take the easy route. It's just a Bloodthirster with more armor on it, so I wasn't really happy with that. I think there should have been much more going on with Angron to give him the feel of having been a Primarch. So that bummed me out a little bit. I do like even though I'm not a big fan of Emperor's Children and Fulgrim in general, I do like the Fulgrim model that Jordan will be painting up. With the snake body, the newer one that they did in resin for that. That one's cool. So there is some demonic stuff that's really bitching. I think the new Chaos box that came out has a funky looking demon in it. It's kind of fun. But the big ones, I've never really been a huge fan. Almost every faction has a few models that I love. Yeah, exactly, Brutal. I think that's a good way to put it. There's always something that Rule of Cool I would paint from every faction. Tyranids, everything. Maybe Tau, though, is the rough one for me because I don't think it fits. So there's a block there in my head for painting Tau stuff. But Kroot, on the other hand, really cool. If they bring back like a really cool model for the Vespids, that would be really bitching. So there could be a lot of really fun stuff out there for sure. But not a big fan of Chaos Demons. Mike, you should stop it. You saw the gun change, Avian. That's it. That's the big thing on the shoulder gun change. The mortar changed on the Thanatar. I think that was really it. And that kind of, all the head and torso area was a little bit thinner feeling, I think. Yeah. Ghost Hunter, you got paid today and you're trying to decide which War Machine faction to buy into. Oh, okay, very cool. Yeah, I've thought about that too. We have the orcs here, or the trolls, sorry. And so I might start painting some of those. There's just too many fiddly bits on them. I really think they've gone a little overboard with the 3D printing and the fact that you can put more detail on models in that realm than you can in standard resin casting that they used to do, and plastics molding. And so I think there's a little much on some of those models. Like, I look at them and I'm like, I would never finish this army because it's got too many doohickeys, right? It's got too many little barnacles and stuff. Because all the trolls now are like pirates, which is cool, but yeah. Mike, have you ever painted Balrog, Mumakil, or Watcher in the Water? No. Nah, none of those really interest me. There was the one demonic thing in Lord of the Rings they made a model for once that is able to be used. I don't remember what it's called, though. It wasn't in any of the movies. It's like kind of like a mini Balrog thing. But I love all of the Lord of the Rings stuff. These guys are mine. I have this whole army, right? So I've got tons of trolls and ogres and orcs and all that kind of stuff for Azog's Legion. Azog's Legion. I like all that stuff. That stuff's great. Yeah, too many fiddly things. I mean, that's one of the deals, is that 3D printing allows you to get away with more because of the you don't have to worry so much about undercuts, which when molding and casting, you have to worry about how deep a relief is and things like that, because it won't pop out of the mold without destroying the mold. So you get like one, so it's not good in that game. I need pizza.
I came in here to ask you.
If you came in here without pizza in your hands, you're doing it wrong.
I wanted to know exactly what you
I would
wanted.
like 2 pieces of pepperoni and a piece of cheese, please. Thanks.
So 3 total?
Yeah.
Awesome. Gotcha.
And make sure they save some for Jen. Cheese.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. If all those sharks eat all that pizza, I will murder people.
Nobody's moving fast.
All right,
so
cool.
I think we're good.
All right, cool. Yeah, trolls are bitching. We heard you like painting small details, so we put small details in your small details. That's exactly it. 3D printing and the STL world can get you there, because you have so many of those people that come from digital sculpting without ever having sculpted things that had to become real, and that's the truth. The STL world is, a lot of those people have never made miniatures before. They've sculpted details, and they're good sculptors, and they make great models, and some of them are great designers and all that, but they've never had to follow through the production end of it, and in doing so, they cause lots of problems. Because if you haven't ever had to have your sculpt turn into a physical object and get feedback on that physical object, then there's just going to be too much stuff. Because you can do anything in the digital realm. Thin antennas, spiky bits all over the place, too much nonsense. But if you don't listen to the feedback from the production people who have to make it and the painters who have to paint it, then you're always just going to be out. There's a lot of those out there. So, Division Ring. Cannibalistic, what's going on? A division where you agree about fiddly bits. You snip some fiddly bits off one of the warcasters because I thought it was support scaffolding, but I will forgive a lot because I don't have to spin it out. Yeah. No, I love them. I think the models look really good. I've really been impressed with some of the new Signar and Kador looking stuff. I mean, that's my first love, War Machine. So, well, Battletech is technically, but I love me some War Machine. Nodin's what's happening. Yeah, Jordan's not super tall. He's not super short either, though. He's average size. Booker, that's awesome. You have a War Machine model you were going to use for D&D? War Machine's always been, I think, fewer pieces, but some of the pieces, the way they go together has been really fiddly. And yeah, the Catalyst Battletech stuff is great. We've had a lot of fun with those, just painting them quick, but I painted like I have a whole regiment or battalion. I don't remember. Battalion is 4 regiments, 3 regiments. I don't remember. I have a battalion. 47 mechs that I've painted up for my battalion. Just working. Spent a lot of time today and yesterday working on a print advertisement. Sounds fun. Sounds fun. But yeah, I've painted so much War Machine over the years. I've had every army, I think. I can't think of many armies that I didn't have in War Machine. I don't know that I have any models sitting around here. They are all in cases because when they kind of blew the world up, I stopped playing the game. So, unfortunately, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. But I have been watching from the cheap seats to see what happens with it, and it has been gathering some momentum. So I would be interested in giving it a whirl again. So don't be mad, but you did a thing mixing Pro Acryl and some speed paint, got really good result. You're crediting it to the Pro Acryl undercoating. I mean, a lot of people use our paints underneath speed paints and contrast and stuff like that. Jess, you're building up Night Haunt? Oh, nice. Yeah, a lot of the guys here talk about AOS 4.0, and so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. First advertisement you ever designed. Well, good luck with that. That's awesome. Highlight my black with some dark neutral gray real quick. On the hands. We're almost done with this thing. I never set out for this to be as detailed as it is, but I'm having fun with it, so Kinko gets the extra mile on this one. Maybe the extra, 100 meters or something. I don't know. I'm doing the whole extra mile, but. Is that a Jordan or a Jen? Jordan, I defended your honor, sir.
Thank you. I squandered away a 3 slices of cheese for Jen. So.
Secreted away. Okay, I got you.
But yeah, not squandered. That was the wrong word. I secreted them away.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Hi, chat. The lights are loud.
I protected your honor.
Thank you. In what
They
way?
said you were short. I said he's not that short.
I'm not that short. I'm very average of size.
Ooh. All right, chat. This is a momentous occasion. We're gonna take some time for food. Because number 1, I haven't had lunch. I'm gonna die. But number 2, oh, look at you. Thank you.
I got you.
Number 2, I've never had Costco pizza. Ever.
Oh.
Because I don't view Costco as a place where you eat hot. You don't get hot food at Costco. It feels like you're getting it from like the Roach Coach food truck.
Their pizza is good though.
So here we go. Not bad. It's not like frozen pizza,
It's $10 for an 18-inch pizza.
Ryan Wallace says it's not stuffed crust. I don't want it. Wait a minute. Nick Pye says, as a New Yorker, I'm offended. Is Costco... I mean, it's actually kind of like New York pizza. The real test is when I get to the crust.
I really like the cheese. The cheese is where it's at for me.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's definitely the most economical pizza option for pizza parties.
Yeah, we had to get a lot of pizza.
I'm glad I hid 3 slices for Jen.
Why?
Because that cheese is going quick.
All right. All right.
Did you try the cheese? Or no, you're trying the crust. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's not bad.
Division Ring, are you doing the original starter set? Are you on Baron Zemo? His knee and elbow pads? I would never say MCP is a nightmare.
It's not.
Some of the models have some fiddly bits. But in general, those models are pretty good.
All right. Bye, chat. Love you, chat.
Thank you, Jordan.
Of course. Let me know. Get me in touch with me if you need more food.
Oh, okay, thank you. Bad dream, not a nightmare. They've gotten a lot better, too. The original ones were a little rougher around the edges on the mechanics of the models, but as they've grown and done more, it's really good. Vexing, Marvel Crisis Protocol from Atomic Mass Games. Good friends of ours. Great company. Great rule set. Fantastic games. They do... they took over all of the Star Wars properties when the whole Asmodee Fantasy Flight kind of thing, when they got bought and all that went down. So the AMG guys do Star Wars Legion, Star Wars X-Wing, Armada, Shatterpoint, all the Star Wars properties, and then they have the Marvel Crisis Protocol game too. So, Watamaton, Vincent, Uncle Adam's new game has you building a band of undead led by a necromancer. Awesome. You were using cement, but got tired of putting fingerprints melted into the figures? Yeah. I don't use any plastic cement for that reason. I only use super glue. Costco pizza is like Costco hot dogs, a little better than you expect, even after having it so many times. There you go, Songer. I've heard that the Shatterpoint and the Legion B1s, or the Legion B1s especially, are a pain in the butt. Kings of War is pretty good, yeah. Nice, Fuker. One of the Jugs folks keeps saying that Marvel Crisis Protocol should be huge. How do you mean huge? Huge size-wise, or that it should be bigger than it is in its acceptance? Because it's growing tremendously. Mad Malachite says, okay, important question. Which do you prefer, cheesecake or Boston cream pie? Cheesecake. I guess let's preface that. With so long as the cheesecake is made out of cream cheese. Or not like old school ricotta cheesy tasting cheesecake. You play the hell out of MCP, but not many people near you are into it. It's a big growing game. Very popular. Mad Malachite, yeah, cream cheese base. In New York, where I used to live in New York, you know, you'd go down to like Little Italy and something in Manhattan, and I'd have to ask because you would get like ricotta, and it's more like a part of the meal, not a dessert, because it doesn't have much sweet to it. And I had never, before I had that, I really never knew that existed. I grew up where like Sara Lee, cheesecake was all that I knew was cheesecake. Building the MCP core set. And your wife is willing to try. That's good. It's a fun game. It has a really unique back and forth. It's got a really unique, I say unique. It's got a really fun and engaging scenario setup. And there's a lot going on, and you're into combat quickly. So it's not a sit around, think about it too much. You can just swing and move, and no rulers, so. You wonder what the Asmodee restructuring will mean for AMG. So it's the parent company of Asmodee. I don't think it's really an Asmodee restructuring. It's that they're breaking off Asmodee and then the two video game houses into three separately traded entities on the stock market. When I read the brief on it that they released, it was so that they could better allow those business units to grow untethered to the issues, we'll say, with the other ones, right? Asmodee's in a pretty good spot from what I see. Now, they are their manufacturing arm. They make physical products. So when you look at the numbers, when you look at their year-end numbers and such, Asmodee's margins may not be as strong as the video game stuff, but the video game stuff is such a bigger impact on cash because of the investment that has to be made on a game that takes so long to generate revenue. So I think that Asmodee is in a pretty good spot from everything I understand. I don't know. I don't sit in those board meetings, but just from looking at everything, that was the take I walked away with. But it's Embracer Group that's restructuring, which is the overall conglomerate, if you will. With all that debt loaded in, presumably they're not going to be able to expand the business for another few years. I don't know. It wasn't, while it was big, it was the ability to finance that debt they secured already, so I don't think it's a big deal. That's how you empower doing new stuff a lot of times, right? Now, granted, this debt is from past things, but from my understanding, they secured financing for all of it, and now they have to spend to be able to pay that back. So I think that now is where they're able to take their revenue and turn it into progressive spending as opposed to just paying off their debt. Because the problem you get in when you take on a lot of debt as a company, you then have to use your revenue, your profit, to pay back your debt, when in normal circumstances you need to be able to use your profit to expand your business, to buy into new projects, new development, all that kind of stuff. And if you're so waylaid with having to do it the other way around, then you have a problem, right? But securing financing for it allows that to be spread out over a longer time. So now hopefully their revenue and the profit from that revenue can be spent to advance those things, which should be better. Yeah, but Asmodee didn't take it all on. They divided it equally from the brief I read. They didn't just take it all and shove it on Asmodee. You may see something that I haven't seen, but that's not the case that I know. Yeah, because they couldn't do that division ring because they're realized when they split like that, the shareholders are choosing which shares they want to retain. Nobody would take on the Asmodee shares. They wouldn't do that. Shoot themselves in the foot. That's not the case. You'd have to really show me something where that's the case. I don't think that's the case. The only reason you do that is if Asmodee is in such a good position that they're able to pay that debt off faster to alleviate the pressure on the other two, at which point it would be a good thing anyway. So. That could be right. Yeah, Wad, what you're saying might be the case. If they did, then it would be because Asmodee is in such a healthy position that they're able to service that debt quicker. without the other ones. But I don't. Again, I'd have to read more into that. Try not to get pizza grease all over this guy. Pizza grease. Yeah, Asmodee, from everything I can see, is fairly healthy. They're doing some great things. You know, Asmodee is much bigger. Asmodee is Catan, Fantasy Flight. They have so many properties that are all doing really well, right? Exploding Kittens, I think. They have tons and tons of those, you know, private game studio. Well, I say private, they're not private anymore, but you know, those independent game studios that do big stuff. Catan being huge. And then you got AMG, Fantasy Flight, all that stuff. So again, I don't know. I just go on what's visible, but all of that stuff is out there if you want to go look at the numbers, obviously. I know that right now AMG is hiring. So that's good. They've promoted some key people into really great spots, people that we know and love and like working with. So that's always good. We are also hiring, yes. Yeah, exactly. They own like a third of the game world. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Fantasy Flight has always done a lot of really cool stuff. What's this up here with Star Wars Unlimited? Asmodee is printing money with Star Wars Unlimited. Oh, yeah, yeah. They own Fantasy Flight, Zazin. Yeah. Yeah, Fantasy Flight got bought. Obviously, they have their distribution and all that stuff, so. What was I going to do on the back of this? Oh, yeah, we have to do the Don't Eat the Paint logo on the back of him, right? I'm not going to write the letters. I want to do the sticker, right? So minus the M, I think we'll do the sticker. Is it funny to have the sticker? I mean, I should just put the sticker on him and call it a day, right? Just peel the sticker off and put it on there and call it a day. You don't get any paint. You just get the sticker on the back. It fits perfectly. Like it was made for that. I don't have to paint that. I'm using a decal. I need to get a new one, though. This one's got crap all over it. Schmutz all over it from sitting on my hobby desk for so long. That's what we're doing, gang. I'm just putting a sticker on the back. So in that regard, he can be done. Ta-da! Finis. Oh, I got to do something on the front here, don't I? I said I was going to put fuse on there, right? Zaza, what are we hiring for? General production labor. This particular role would be in product capping. Is what we're hiring for right now. Good intro production job at Monument Hobbies. Yeah, that sucks, division. But somebody said that was okay. And there's investors involved, so it can't be below board. I mean, it can. Listen to me. The expectation would be that it's all up front and people are okay with it. Otherwise, you'd never be able to do it. Because that still has to go in front of SEC type body to make sure that you're not putting investors' money in harm's way, right? T. Schmidt, official title, lid slave. Yes, exactly. Fuker, how many employees do we have? I think we are at 26, 24, 25, 26. I don't keep count. I think this new person might be 26. You're not good at keeping a lid on your emotions, Game Delay. Don't act like we don't have to deal with you every day. Don't act like we don't deal with you every day. Yeah, I think they're fine, Division Ring. 6 employees and 20 strangers to chat then, says Ghost Hunter. Okay, who all have you met? You've met Jacob. You've met Shannon, Shelby, Gabe, Christopher. You've met James came in here. On the day we did the giveaways, you met Maddie. Gosh, I can't remember. Lots of people came through here and put their butts in seats around Christmas time for the big giveaways, right? We had a pair of people in the chairs each hour. So you've met a lot of those people. You've met Matt. So that right there is 8 or 9. I don't know if Brennan came. Yeah, Brennan came on. So you've met Brennan. Obviously, the usual suspects, me, Jen, Jordan. Yeah, so you've met probably 15 or so of the crew. Philip, there you go, 16. Right? So there might be 8. There's Yezi, Tim, Jesus, Grant. Grant's our newest. Addie, I don't think Addie, Tim, and Yezi weren't here when we had everybody come through, sit in the chair. So Addie, that's 5. William, I don't know if William came in here. Paul, I don't know if Paul's been on stream. So that's 7. So that's about right. Yeah, it sounds about right. You've met like 17 or 18 people, and we got like 17 or 7 that you haven't met. You met Cora. You met the HR department herself last week. Yeah. You guys have met damn near the entire staff of Monument Hobbies over time. So don't go telling me you haven't. All right. I'm signing it now, gang. I never do this, but we're doing it. Philip was your favorite employee, but you didn't know the full range of options? There's a lot. You got pushed into a decision before you had complete information. I mean, yeah, what kind of attorney are you? Yeah, I think was it Wad, was it Black Friday? Yeah, it was around the holidays where we introduced just about everybody. But we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 new hires since then. Maybe more. I think 5. That sounds about right. I know Addie, Yezi, Tim, Jesus, and Grant are all brand new. Well, not brand new. I mean, 3 of those people have been here since the beginning of the year. But since we had everybody in front of the cam, everybody who wanted to be on camera that day got an opportunity to be on camera that day, which was fun. We had a blast with that. I am running the show solo today. Well, so far. Jen's supposed to come back in and join me, but the post hasn't been to pick up our shipment today either. It's as most of you know in the States, it's Memorial Day weekend coming up, and so I assume that our normal post guy is probably off, and that means the B team is on, and they don't do their job very well. So we'll see. If they don't, then Jen may have to be stuck handling all that stuff. But we are on hobby day here at the office, so everybody got to break at noon. The whole office gets paid for their second half of the day to screw around in the game room, play games, be sociable, or read books, or whatever they want to do. So everybody's doing that right now. That's why Jordan is not with us. Jordan is playing games. It shows you where his loyalties lie. He would rather play games than hang out with us, chat. So I need you to remember that. Remember who your real friend is here at Monument Hobbies. Who's here streaming today? Who's not playing games, chat? I need you to remember this, right? Yeah, they have to be sociable. We force them into being sociable. It's a great way. We love doing it. We haven't done it in over a year. Gabe reminded me that he has not taken part in one of these since coming to Monument Hobbies, and he just celebrated his 1-year anniversary with us. So we have not done a hobby day in over a year, which we hate, right? We always have taken pride in being able to do that, and so we can't let our growth and all the manic nonsense around here get in the way of having some fun and remembering what we do and why we do it. You know, it's always great to take a little bit of time, take a load off during the workday, get paid for it, and play games and paint and do whatever. It's funny now, though, because we have so many employees who are not hobby nerds, you know, not naturally hobby nerds. And so a lot of them, you know, when we do stuff like this, they don't know what to do with themselves. They're like, I don't normally do this stuff. What do I do? We got Shannon painting. Shannon and Shelby are out today, so unfortunately they miss Hobby Day. Shannon was bummed that she got to miss Hobby Day, but she's never here on Fridays anyway. Shannon likes us, but not enough to work 5 days a week. There you go. It's Fuse. You hired paint muggles? Paint muggles? Chat keeps World HQ super busy. Yes, you and all the other tens of thousands. Yeah, exactly. Mandatory fun day. We used to do it once a quarter, OSOB paints, but like I said, we haven't done it in a year. So that's horrible. Matt Malachi, today would have been a fun day for a visit. Yeah, if they heard the doorbell. There's a sign on the front door that says, please ring doorbell. You come up to the building, big monument sign, parking's full. You walk up to the door and it's like locked. And it has a little post-it note taped to the window by a doorbell. It says ring doorbell. And the doorbell rings in the employee break room. Jason, we're chat. We know what we're like. Everybody deserves a break from us. Can we play games with chat? Oh my god, that would be great. Divisionary, you're pretty happy you get to do little game events at your work. It's awesome, right? Ginkgo, thanks. It's yours. It has to be awesome. Any games particularly in at Monument at the moment? So Kyle is trying to get everybody. He's out there doing Blood Bowl games today. He's really pushing to have people play Blood Bowl. he is a big 30K guy, Horus Heresy guy. So he's gotten a bunch of people into Horus Heresy. What did Ruben? Ruben just came and asked me if I wanted to play something, and I don't remember what it was. That they've got a lot of people talking about playing. I don't remember what game it was though. But no, nothing that stands out. It was Age of Sigmar for a long time because as we had Philip is a big Age of Sigmar guy, Gabe and Christopher were big Age of Sigmar guys. I think in the lull between getting geared up for 4th edition, that there's a lot of speculation that that'll probably see a rise again. For a minute there was Old World, but that faded out very quickly. Everybody still has big boxes of Old World stuff they say they're building, but I haven't seen any games played since Jordan played a game a while back with Matt. But no, not a whole lot of things at the forefront. Game night has been really sparse as we came into the beginning of the year. Well, actually, since the end of the year with the holidays, right? Because Fridays, today, is our game night. So what happens at 4 o'clock? Because we work 8 to 4 here. So 7-hour work days. Another reason you should come work at Monument Hobbies. It's fun, and you don't have to work as long. So we're off at 4, and on Fridays we stay here for games. And so whoever wants to can stay and play games. We've got a big library of games and game tables and all that stuff. So we play everything from Magic. Magic's really big right now. Commander is really big. So we have a lot of people playing Commander. But we haven't been around because I've been gone. The people that lock the building up and have, authority and responsibility have been gone. So there haven't been a lot of game nights since the holidays. Like through the beginning of this year, there's been very sparse game nights too. So we're trying to get better about all that. Sounds like a fun Friday at work with you wish your job did stuff like that. That's what we're trying to do is make everybody jealous that your job isn't as good as working at Monument Hobbies. Chat plays Blood Bowl against Monument Hobbies. Oh, you won't catch me playing Blood Bowl. I absolutely despise that game. It's the funnest game that I've ever despised in my life. Like, I want to play Blood Bowl. It sucks. It's way too random. There's way too many dice rolls, which makes the random really hurt. But it's fun to watch people play and to heckle them the whole time. That's my fun with that. So I'll let everybody else do it. Not in person, as everybody I work with is remote employee. Oh, okay, gotcha. Did Christopher or Gabe bring the nice dice tray? I don't know. Tubbikins, how are you subbed and not following? Thank you for both. Good to see you. Cantankerous AP says, have you played Infinity before? Infinity was my go-to competitive game for a long time. I played through original into, and I think into N3 when I quit. There were some really bad rules for a moment there that just made it no fun. It switched the game to being more push buttons, take a million dudes, and I liked playing big, heavy-hitting, I say big, small forces with big, heavy-hitting stuff in it. Not necessarily tags, but, bigger, heavy infantry units and things like that. I played Yujing and Combined Army, mainly. I had other armies, but those were my two big ones. And I like to play them with bigger, heavy infantry and, smaller forces. And it really just became order spam for a long time. And a lot of people they just throw bodies out there. They wouldn't really care if the bodies could kill anything. They just put them out there as cannon fodder while they press buttons to get the scenario done. And I was wanting to play a combat game. So I stopped playing it. I've heard it's gotten a lot better. But it's not a game where I really I had a bunch of friends here that I had made in the Infinity scene. Of course, the old Tom Shadle and Kip ran a podcast called MayaCast for Infinity for years. I think they still have more Infinity episodes than anybody, and they don't even do the show anymore. And they're here local, and so they ran a lot of tournaments, had a lot of interaction with the community. There she is. I am no longer alone. So they ran a lot of interactions. So we had Tom and Kip both on our stream from time to time, and it was really great. That community here locally was great. The Rumble on Route 66, one of the biggest Infinity tournaments in the world, was right over in New Mexico. We did the Arizona Armageddon thing. Tom did, I should say. Here, that was a big tournament, 80-plus people. So it was a lot of activity in Infinity, and then that just all kind of slowly faded away. I think Infinity has really lost its big push. I think that a lot of metal miniature stuff and all that, I think, we'll see if they can make a comeback. But it kind of lost its luster for me. Oh, Tubbikins maybe got a gifted sub. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I hate that a lot of them are metal. Just not fun. And you know, the thing for me became they started stripping out a lot of what I really liked. I liked the really alien looking combined army stuff, and they stripped it out of the game for a while. They've started bringing some of it back, but you know, it hurt for a while. I was like, well, I can't play with the models I have that are really cool. Best you get paid 2-hour meeting at the end of the year. That's boring. But you get your end of year bonus. I mean, that's good. Not every company can do the same things. You know, we're a company that's based on having fun and doing cool stuff with cool people. And our employees count in that agreement. And so we like to do cool stuff with them. So it's fun. I took a photo and posted it up on Instagram of everybody playing games in the game room. So it's cool.
At the vet.
Dude, if I could get my mom to move to AZ, you'd be down to work for you guys. Who needs a mom? Just jump on a bus, dude. We got a couch. You can sleep on the couch. We got a drink thing filled with drinks. Taking showers will be rough. We don't have a shower. So we have a hose out back. Got you covered. You've volunteered to work the night shift multiple times, but Lord Commander says no, because we don't have one of those.
We don't have a night shift.
We kick everybody out at 4 p.m. We don't want people here late.
Pretty serious about that, too.
That may change. We might have to start running like night production shifts, unfortunately. The way we're growing. Chat plays Blood Bowl against a goldfish. The goldfish will win. You wish Infinity was plastic, and I wish it was more pronounced, the differences between the factions. The you know, one of the problems when you have a world that is mainly humanoid and mainly humans from Earth is that it gets very samey, right? Very, very samey. Like the tags and all the design is really cool, but it as a miniatures, they're all, you could paint any model in Infinity in the colors of whatever faction you like, and it would look like it's supposed to be in that faction. Because none of them, other than some of the combined army stuff, like the ape dudes, really look like they're any different than anything else. Some of the Toha units, but not even them, really. Jin's here! Fallout factions. The Fallout world, again, is something that I'm not really embedded in, but I would, you know, if it was a cool game, I'd play it. Zazin, what have you been working on product-wise? We've got a lot of new paint stuff coming out through this year in 2025. We got a lot in the works. We just placed one of the single largest POs in our company's history today. Look at Jin's face. Yeah, we just placed a huge purchase order today with a vendor. So there will be. Did you get pizza?
Yeah.
Okay. You already eat it? What?
Well, the mail got here right as I got here.
Okay.
So he had already hit the doorbell. Philip opened the door, and then I was coming in.
Gotcha.
So I was like, Phil, go. I'll sit up here while he does this. So I just sat at the desk and ate my pizza.
What is Warcrow? Is that the fantasy one? Tubbikins, you 100% would take metal minis over anything? What? Wait. What? Back up. You like metal minis. Is that what you meant to say? Interesting. I'd love to hear why. Plastic is better in every way, right? Just from a model building standpoint. Metal is definitely cheaper to spin up. So from a company standpoint, I wish everybody was like you, because we would make lots of metal minis.
The pigment for dark jade going. We have dark jade.
Infinity sameness, it also makes it really hard to figure out what anything does. Yeah, you know, a lot of the models, you know, you have to get used to, oh no, that's the guy with the HMG, that's the guy with the boarding shotgun, that kind of stuff. It's a great game to play, right? Just visually, it's a little lacking for me. And it has some great models. Again, like I said, I love the bots, I love the remotes. I ran a Eugene remote-heavy list that was really fun to play. Reaction bots and stuff are really fun. I don't know how the rules are anymore, but... Mad Malachite Fantasy? Yeah, I haven't seen it. I mean, I've heard of it, but I haven't paid much attention to it. Yeah, Dark Jade's back in stock, Captain Menrings. Usually when we're out, it's only like days to maybe a week or two at most before we get stuff back in. So right now, especially with new product release, you may see one of the new sets be unavailable because the color's out of stock. It'll usually only be a few days before it's back. Division Ring says metal models are better if you're going to put 30 of them in a sock and club somebody with it. Oh, that's funny. Like the old metal dreadnoughts. Home defense unit. Warcrow has, oh, so it has factions. It's not like a skirmishy, oh, maybe it's skirmishy, but is it large factions like fantasy battle, Age of Sigmar style stuff, or is it smaller? T. Schmidt, you buy raw dry pigment from your supplier, right? So, well, obviously everything starts with raw dry pigment, but then it goes into what we call a slurry very quickly because raw dry pigment isn't how you make paint. I mean, it is, it's a component, but you have to have the pigment coated and able to have it not turn into mud in the suspension. So no, we don't receive it as dry pigment. We don't have a facility here where we all wear breathing apparatuses and grind pigment. That all happens at our lab. Happy Mandarins, what do you mean, sorry, dark turquoise?
What was she saying about dark turquoise?
Oh, she mentioned in her video that dark turquoise had already sold out, but realized she shot that like over a week ago.
Oh, yeah.
More than that.
It's back in stock.
So in a conversation with us, she was just using information of the moment to put in the video, but it was already back in stock by the time she released her video. Like when her video released, we sold over 600 sets in the first like few hours after her video hit.
It was crazy.
This is my home defense Thunderhawk. That Thunderhawk, it also came in a huge wooden box, which is great. Yeah, Tubicans, I can see that. I'll be honest with you, in my bolt action armies, I much prefer the metal models to the plastic. But the reason for that is the heft of the model, given that the detailing is not different between the two. They look the same because they're doing less digital sculpting. It's still more hand sculpted masters. So whether you're using plastic or metal, the details are very similar. And I would rather have the heft of the model in metal, but I don't like working with it. I don't like cleaning metal models. I don't like the flash. Yeah. I don't like painting them anymore. But of course, I grew up when there were no plastic miniatures. I mean, there were plastic 1/35 scale models that I built, but on the miniatures front, everything was metal. But nowadays, plastic and resin have gotten to the point to where they are on par with what you're finding in metal miniatures, by far. Zaz, and what's the benefit of the heavy body acrylics again? Which? Ours, like the heavy bodied whites, or just heavy body acrylics in general? Because we're releasing a line of heavy bodied acrylics hopefully before the end of the year. And heavy bodied acrylics they're all what we'll call artist grade paints, like the type of paint that an artist would buy to paint on a canvas. So they are built for art, is the way to say that. Most hobby paints are not built for art. They're usable in art, and they're built to be liquid so that you can paint with them easier, but they're not made as artist products are made. And by that, artists aren't worried about the same things like opacity. So a lot of paints start with a tint base, much like a house coating, like a paint you would get at the hardware store. They start with a tint base that is more opaque, so it gives coverage on the model. Whereas a canvas starts with a gesso and it's flat, and so whether or not a coat is completely covered or not doesn't matter. You can do as many layers as you want, and it's not a struggle on canvas. So a lot of those paints are less opaque. There are still opaque pigments, right? Pyro red is fairly opaque, not 100%, but so there are some fairly opaque pigments. But when you get into tube acrylics, you start talking about paints that have a lower opacity, but much higher tint strength. They're much more vibrant, right? They have so much oomph in the color that you just get so much more out of every brush stroke that way, where opacity isn't the case. So when painting miniatures, they allow you to glaze and filter and blend in ways that are much easier to use in a lot of cases. That's why you'll hear people in the hobby talk about, is your paint single pigment? Because they equate that to meaning that it acts more like an art paint, like a high-end artist paint. And so that's what you look for when you're talking about heavy-bodied acrylics is a more higher-end art paint. Even if you're using something like Liquitex, heavy-bodied, you're still looking at something that has more pigment per brush stroke. It's thicker, right? It's not liquid, so it's not diluted at all. Or in most cases, you can still get some that are, but so that's the thing. Warcrow has custom dice. Isn't plastic superior in terms of details vector? No, really metal is, because it can come to a sharper edge in general, right? Plastic doesn't liquefy to the same state that metal does in a lot of cases. That's changing, right, with new materials, right? But when you get molten metal and pour it into a mold and spin it, it gets into tighter details and gives you more crisp lines and things like that. It also cools and shrinks differently, so it can be distorted better than or more than plastic. So there's a lot of trade-offs there. The idea that metal's better for details than plastic is a thing of the past. Plastics and resins can now do enough detail to where you never think about making that same model in metal anymore because of the negatives that metal brings to the table, both in weight, from a shipping standpoint, but mainly for hobbyists in the standpoint of cleaning and assembly, right? Most metal models, you'll find that due to the shrinkage in the mold after cooling, that you wind up with parts going together and leaving big gaps. Now you got to gap fill a lot more with that than you do with plastics, even though plastics also have some shrinkage. But with good planning on the sprue, plastics work a ton better than metals do. So how was the girl? Stressed?
That vet was terrible.
Was it really bad?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I need to start calling to make appointments. I just assume that they're going to give me the, same doctor that already knows us.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just book online. And they don't give you an option to pick the doctor.
Oh.
So I just, it's whoever they give me. So I've seen 3 different doctors there. No.
Right. I know you said the first one was okay. The
She
second
was
one was
okay.
great.
The second one was fantastic. And this one was not good.
Horrible?
She had no bedside manner. Cora hated her. Hated her.
Cora doesn't hate anybody.
Cora, well, so this woman was probably, she was considerably older. And very small. She was maybe 5 feet tall, maybe 100 pounds, just a teeny tiny old woman. And she was wearing a mask. And I don't know if that was what it was or if it was just the vibe. But Cora just looked at this woman and just started barking. Well, first of all, she came in and Cora was laying down next to me, and then Cora gets up and walks over, and the woman takes a big step back, and she's like, "Oh God, don't jump on me." She's like, you weigh more than I do. And I'm like, okay, that's like, you are a veterinarian.
Yeah. like you don't have the opportunity to do that kind of stuff.
This is strange. Right? So then, and then, so Cora, I think, got a bad vibe right away and just started barking at her and would not stop barking at her.
And then had to deal with her the whole time.
Yeah. And then, so then a tech had to come in and help her. And this woman had not looked at any of our past records or anything. She had no idea what was going on. And they're like, yeah, we should do blood work. I'm like, we did blood work, and it was at a different vet, but I brought it all in, and they scanned it in, and every doctor has seen it, so I don't know why you haven't. and it was rough. So we're exhausted.
I hate to hear that.
And we didn't get the shot.
Why?
Because she was after I was because the purpose of wanting to talk to the vet was to ask about like why she's restless and stuff after she gets it. And she's like, well, I've never heard that before. She's like, it's probably something else. I'm like, okay, well then it's a really great coincidence that it happened exactly at the same time as her last 2 injections. Like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't think she should be on that anyway. Like, I need to look this up. And she's like on her phone Googling And she's like, I need to see if they get anaphylaxis because I took a medication, and after my third dose, I had anaphylaxis. I built up this, I don't know how she described it. She's like, but it was, I had anaphylaxis, and it was like there was no oxygen in the room, and I don't want that to happen to your dog. And I'm like, well, I don't either. But nobody told me this was a risk. So she then tried to just send me home with like an NSAID, like a Tylenol basically, and she didn't look, because the reason that we started doing the injection is because the tablets instead of basically like the Tylenol or ibuprofen didn't work. It didn't do anything for her.
Right.
So that's why we started doing these injections. Well, then today, when this woman's like, I don't want to do the injections, and then she sends me, she's like, I'm going to give you a prescription for NSAIDs. I want you to have her on them for a month. She's like, you know, they do have some side effects, and it's like if you took Tylenol every day, it's the same type of thing that would happen to you. I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. And she's like, oh, it's fine. Dogs of her age, it shouldn't be an issue. I'm like, well, then why'd you say it? You know, I'm like, okay. And I said, so then I was like, okay, well, can you at least look up, you know, what we've had before, because you've given us prescriptions before and they haven't worked. And so the girl's like, oh yeah, the tech is looking it up, and she's like, oh, she's like, yeah, we gave you this a couple months ago. And I'm like, yeah, and it didn't work. Like, so now you're trying to give it to me for a month? And she's like, okay, do you want to just decline it? I'm like, yeah, I do. So we left with some drops for her ears because she has like a little ear infection. It was really hard. It was very frustrating.
Yeah, I would be like, hey, we don't ever want to see that doctor again.
Yeah, no, her name's on the prescription. I'm going to make sure that we don't see her again. X-ray, and Cora is, you know, looks like a pit bull. We don't know if she is, but she does have that look, that bully breed look, and yeah. And of course, animals can get anaphylaxis, but you know, that was not anything that they had ever mentioned before. And I don't know that that's what would happen, but she was very much against giving the injection, and I was like, that's fine. You're the expert, so I'm not going to question that and say, no, I want you to give it to her anyway. But the fact that she didn't even look at any of the past stuff was really frustrating. Yeah, Cora is just
She's
lovable.
a doctor that was mad that everybody else was out for Memorial Day weekend.
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, we just won't be.
There you go.
We'll be going back to the second one. She was great.
The chat, if any of you are doctors.
One also said that, so the first doctor said that Cora needed to lose weight. She's like, yeah, maybe like she should probably lose 2 or 3 pounds. So we, reduced her food, and she lost a couple pounds. So she's down now to where that first vet suggested she should be. This woman comes in today. She's like, yeah, she probably needs to lose 5 or 6 pounds. I'm like, what? and then she goes, and then I said, well, how do you recommend doing that? I'm like, do I just feed her less again? Like less now, because we fed her less, and then she's kind of like plateaued. Like, do I need to reduce her food again? Like, she's a big dog, she needs to eat. And she's like, or you could give her, like weight loss food. I'm like, well, but she has food intolerances. Like, I've already said that to you. She can't eat a weight loss food because she has to eat this specific other food. Ugh. Anyway.
Chat,
yeah,
if you or anyone you know is a doctor,
monument weasels to this woman.
please take this as a lesson of how not to treat your patients.
Yeah. Finding a good vet is almost like finding the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Yeah. And the one that I wish I would have called and made sure. I don't know why I would have thought I needed to make sure, because they told me that the first one doesn't work at the end of the week, and so I thought that would mean I would get the other one.
Little did you know there was a third one.
Now I got the third one. Is she the expert? Experts do their homework. That's a very good point, Game Delay. She should have taken a few minutes. You know, we've only been going to this vet, like the practice, since October, November, maybe. So we don't have like this lengthy history that she would have had to read through. Unfortunately, doctors are people, so they are a huge pain in the buttocks.
Also true.
Yeah. As an EMT, we had regular classes on how to treat people besides bedside manner. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially as an EMT, because you're there in the worst time,
Oh, yeah.
right? Doctors can be, but generally doctors are just like, hey, I'm, in the middle of my work day,
Yeah.
checking you out on your coming in here sick or feeling bad or needing a checkup or whatever. I feel like that's even a lower stress situation, but doctors tend to turn it into high stress
Yeah.
situations by poor communication.
Yeah. Another fun story about veterinary practices. One of my parents' dog, a wiener, had a very obviously broken rib as a puppy before we adopted him. It took 4 different visits over the course of 6 years for one vet to ask, has he ever broken a rib? Do you know?
What? Yeah, exactly, Mandarins. It's like, come on.
Yeah, there was a point where I almost was like, you know what? I feel like I just want to leave right now. I don't want to continue this visit. And that's a lot for me to say that. So, yeah, Mad Malachite said that was literally the point. This might be your 5th call of this type that day, but remember, they are experiencing one of the worst days of their lives for sure.
Yeah, with EMTs, I've talked to lots of EMTs that say the same thing. It's like that really puts you in the position of having to understand that no matter how your day is going, it is not near as bad as the possibility of what you're about to walk into.
Yeah, yeah,
Otherwise, there's an EMT coming for you too. Right?
yeah.
Which is why that was always a stressful job for them, because it was like then administration didn't understand what they were putting themselves into, and they're like, oh, yeah, you should get paid less. Here's
Yeah.
pay cuts.
She also said that she thinks Cora is 9 years old.
What?
Yeah. She's like, well, and that may also be why Cora didn't like her, because she was like looking at her eyes really closely, but she had the mask on, and I think that the whole thing was just a bad vibe for Cora. But yeah, she was looking at her eyes, and she said there's something in her eyes that she's like, oh, I see that whatever in her eyes, and that she's probably like 9. I'm like, I don't know. Then, because we had a vet when we got her that said she was 2 when we got her, and we got her 4 years ago. So yeah, she said she thinks Cora is 9. We think Cora is somewhere between 6 and 8. I don't like this vet.
No, sounds like I don't like this vet. I don't like this vet either. Dog eyes are like trees. The rings tell you the age. Really? No.
Dog's eyes do get cloudier as they get older, but oh my gosh, yeah, Tuffekins, that's terrible.
And that's what that whole bedside manner thing means. You have a history of cancer in your family. Like, you don't say that to somebody unless you have a diagnosis you're about to give. And even then, you don't say it that way. What's wrong with people?
Cora is a very good judge of character, actually.
She really is.
Black Wolf, she was in, we had her here in the studio last week.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna get her some training, work on her manners, so that she can be around people.
Black Wolf used to come around the shop when Cora had her little apartment.
Cora had a little apartment in our old shop. Black Wolf. Black Wolf is almost the reason why we have Cora, because he was in the shop one day at our old place, and I was showing Jason the picture of Cora, and Black Wolf said, "If you don't go get that dog, I am going to go get that dog." And Jason's like, "All right, we can go meet the dog."
That's true.
Oh, Sylvie, are you leaving? Hope everyone has a great weekend. Give Cora extra cuddles to aid the recovery. I will. We're going to go home and cuddle because I'm sure she's pretty pooped out. Yep. How's Bruno? Bruno is the sweetest. Working with people with disabilities, I regularly remind myself if they were happy and their lives were going great, they wouldn't be impatient with me because they wouldn't need my help. Sometimes, you know, like, you really think about things and it just all clicks.
Oh, and Mike's like, Cora cuddles and crosswords. Jin's
Yes.
Friday evening plans. You're not wrong.
And probably some Vanderpump Rules. That's a good Friday night for Jen and Cora.
DiCaprio, did you read that? You don't need to be an insensible monster to work in medicine areas, but it just helps. All right.
My lawyer talks about my bad behavior in public chats.
Well, I thought about that whole client privilege, right? Client attorney privilege. He's just outing you.
Xenobond, that's dedication. Xenobond is camping. Didn't want to lose the streak.
Oh, that's awesome. Where are you camping?
Little big softy.
Claimed him as the shop dog.
You're really just said a ghost hunter. I only compliment you and never bring up the incident. TM. Anyone have fun plans for the long weekend? You know, Bond is camping. We had Shelby and, well, Shannon's not usually here on Fridays, but Shelby was out today because they went up to, I don't know, there was just a day trip, but Shannon and Jason are going not our Jason, are going camping.
I say I have not packed.
Huh?
Said I have not packed and I am not ready for this if I have to go camping.
Shannon has her own Jason. Oh, questions here. Hang on, let me get back. Vector said, I don't really get why I would use a wash versus noosh.
So, good question. Washes are what we call an additive painting method. Noosh is meant for subtractive painting method, although it can be used as an additive painting technique. But by and large is meant for subtractive. And what that means is additive is what I'm doing now. You put paint from your palette on the model. That's additive. You're adding paint over other paint and you continue doing it until you're done. Subtractive, and that's what washes are. You put a wash on and it rolls into the crevices and cracks and darkens things up and gives you a filter and all that good. But you don't, that's it. You just put it on the model. It does its thing. You can paint over the top of it, all that.
Raid.
With noosh, well, thank you for the raid. Who's it?
Bib Phillip. Bib Phillip.
Well, hello, everybody.
Hello. It's
Fib Phillip, I hope you had a great stream.
When it was white on the
That's-
back.
I had to look at that
I
because
know,
we have our own
I-
Phillip, and I'm
why
like, is
did
it
I-
Phillip?
why did I
Phillip?
have a hard
Fib?
time
Phillip?
to
What's
read
going
it?
on, guys? But Noosh, on the other hand, is meant to mix with the pigment of your choice, put it on the model, and then wipe a lot of it off. And what stays behind is the effect that you're looking for. So we call that subtractive weathering, right? So you put more paint on, you clean it off either with solvents. In our case, you use water or, wet towel or, whatever, sponge. And you take most of the paint away. And in removing the paint is what gives you the effect rather than the adding of the paint onto the model. Does that make sense? Those are the big differences. Now, you can use Noosh to do additive painting techniques. Vince Venturella in a recent video used some Noosh to do streaking. I've done it on our Dreadnought. Same thing. I put it on and used it as streaking grime. So it works well for all these little rust dirt streaks that you see. But I also globbed it on the whole model and wiped it off to get the overall darkness and dirtiness on our Death Guard Dread. So...
Bib Phillips said, saw the cool little art toy on the thumbnail. Thought I have to check out what's going on here.
We are the manufacturers. We're Monument Hobbies. We manufacture paint called Proacryl. So we make these artist paints for painting miniatures, as you can see from all of the minis we have and what we paint for Warhammer and other games and such. But we manufacture the paint and a lot of the hobby supplies. And so we had a troll on one of our advertisements on Facebook or, Meta someplace. And, trolls being trolly. And so we kind of trolled lightly back, and he just wasn't having it. Bad mood, woke up and chose violence. So I made a product on our website called Bold Sense of Humor. We have our biggest selling product is Bold Titanium White, right? And so we made a product called Bold Sense of Humor and put it up on the website at $499 as a meme and told him he should go buy one. And we never heard from him again, so it worked. But we sold 2 of them. So when we sold 2 of them, I had to figure out what to do. So we commissioned a sculptor and turned the bold. So the Bold Sense of Humor on the site was just a bottle with the Groucho Marx glasses. But we hired a sculptor and made it into more of a Mr. Potato Head looking thing that you can use as a brush holder. So he's got little holes in his feet, and he holds brushes for you at your desk. So it actually is a functional tool on your desk. It's also fun. And for the 2 that people bought, we printed them out, and we're hand painting them for those 2, so they can have a hand painted piece of history.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
We love retrolling.
Oh yeah.
This is not our first time retrolling.
No. This is kind of how we act.
This is what we do a little bit.
A lot of people will troll us on purpose to see what our reaction will be, and that's a lot of fun. Some people just wake up and choose violence.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we have something for all comers.
And Phillips said the paint and the paint job looks amazing. Most certainly, I can grab some good chunks of knowledge.
Awesome.
That's what we're here for. OMG Mike has a question. When zenithaling a model with airbrush, is it bad to use white primer over the black, or should I just airbrush white paint?
This whole model was done white primer over black primer to do that same technique. So no, you can definitely use the white primer over the black primer. No reason not to. At the end of the day, primer is a colored paint. It is just meant to have ours is a polyurethane primer, so it's just meant to be heavier duty than the finish of a normal paint, and to make other paint stick better to the model when painting over the top of it. That said, it does still have color. It does still do the job. It is tougher than normal paint, so, don't feel bad about using it to paint with.
Cannibalist, you're packing the last of your stuff and driving 4 hours with 3 cats in the car. I wish you luck.
Good luck with all that.
Turn the radio up. Speaking of metal minis as home defense weapons, Wad Tomatoes Work decided that they needed company-branded Yeti ice buckets, and holy crap, this thing is definitely a home defense weapon. That's nice. That's not a cheap gift. Mo's painting this weekend like a good nerd, he said.
Awesome. I've got to do some product testing at some point. We got a long weekend, so that might be my Monday. I don't know.
Well, Tomato has Star Wars Unlimited tournament tomorrow, and then Monday having an early birthday dinner with the fam. Do something for your birthday this weekend. Having a cookout tomorrow with some friends, making some from scratch tacos, and the wife has the holiday off on Monday. Awesome. We're off on Monday too.
Jen's abandoning me for my birthday. So
It's
so we're gonna do
technically,
unruly
it's
things
his
while she's
own
gone,
doing.
chat. My birthday's next Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Thursday is your birthday.
My birthday's Thursday next week, chat. So I need a plan. I need a plan. Chat, what do you think if I make all the Mineworks and Journeyman miniatures at like 40% off? Would that be a cool thing to do while Jen's gone?
Philip said, "I have my own Philip. We have our own Philip. We call him New Guy Phil."
Captain Mannerings, nothing we make is made for your mouth hole.
No.
Don't listen to Etrian.
Ghost Center, I would never troll the Monument Hobby social media posts. Never.
Yeah, we paint all sorts of things. I've just was getting to a point where I was finishing up on a model called Usharan from Age of Sigmar. Not quite done, but this is for our Philip. Philip. Our Philip got a couple of these models, and I wanted to paint one, so I rarely paint models for other people in here, too. So, right in a row. But we paint all sorts of stuff on here. Not everything's for gaming. Some are more display-style models and things of that nature.
Vector, weekend plan. In-laws are visiting from France for your son's 3rd birthday. That's awesome. So it's probably not a long weekend in Sweden. So jealous of Color Forge color spray places.
I'm so jealous of Color Forge color spray places. What do you mean?
What does that mean? Looking forward to long hobby weekend now that I'm back home. Awesome. Glad that you guys are reunited. Wife's visiting her mom's just gonna hang at home.
You took next week off, Mike? That's awesome.
There's General Ginkgo, the proud owner of this cold sense of humor.
Yeah, General Ginkgo in chat. This is his. Ta-da! What do you think, Ginkgo? I'm kind of getting close to being done. I decided I'm just going to put one of the Don't Eat the Paint stickers on the back, babe. Because it fits perfectly. I'm not painting it.
Yeah.
It fits perfectly.
Yeah.
I just need a new sticker because this one's a little chuffed.
Oh, yeah. They're enjoying your plan. Sweet. Many gifts to buy. Yes, please discount Mineworks.
I think we will. I think all miniatures other than our texture trainers will be 40% off.
Definitely need a sale on minis.
Over my my birthday weekend, starting Thursday through the weekend, maybe. What do you think, gang?
No, they can't have cheesecake while I'm gone.
Ooh, and cheesecake.
No.
Wad, we'll do it all the way through the weekend. My birthday's Thursday, so I probably start it Thursday and do it all the way through the weekend. I was thinking about doing something fun like that. Death laser and the discount. Why limit your birthday? Okay, yeah, sure. Let's build a death laser live on stream and discount models. How about that?
Wad, you're correct.
Uh-oh. Mike, shush. Shush, Mike. Step away from the computer. Stop. 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 So Mike asked me at the beginning of the stream the things I needed, and I said, Mike, I don't need anything. And then someone by the name of Donald showed up, and Donald said if you had to pick one faction in the Warhammer universe that you only had to paint for fun and not by how they play in the game, what would you do? And so we had a good conversation about my take on all of that, and I named some factions or whatever, and freaking
Mike's taking notes.
Freaking Mike took advantage of me. I think Mike is technically Donald as well.
I was just going to ask if Mike was really Donald.
I think Mike has multiple accounts.
So this current art toy was commissioned by you. Do you also design or make your own figures? Yes.
I'm sorry, where is this at?
Right here.
So this current art toy is commissioned by you. Do you also design and make your own figures? So we do have our own models. This one was just because it's our paint bottle, basically, right? I just worked with a sculptor, and then, you know, I had done a graphic capture of some of the Groucho Marx glass. So this was really easy. There wasn't anything there. We took some cues from, like, Mr. Potato Head shoes and stuff like that. So, but it's just 3D printed, right? So a very simple toy. But we do our own miniatures, right? And so we make what we call texture trainers. And the texture trainers are designed by me. I do the initial drawing, and then we have a character artist and a sculptor that, again, we'll sculpt them up so that we can print them and turn them into physical products. And we do these so that you can use them to train yourself on various painting techniques. So we've got the Warrior is the first one. This is texture trainer number 1, the Warrior, and it has, you know, leather armor, leather bags, you know, a dagger, various types of metal, cloth, hair, skin, fur, so that you can have I painted the axe as if it were stone, polished stone. So it gives you the ability to practice a lot of your painting techniques to create various looks for material, because that's the biggest thing you'll want to be practicing on, how light, you know, reflects on metal versus cloth or leather and such. So we do that, and we've got 3 of them currently. Got that, the Hunter, right, which is a sci-fi bounty hunter model. And then the Crone is number 3, and the Crone is a, you know, a gypsy style witch with bone and all sorts of organics, and you know, we make them fun by putting fun material into them, but also they're meant, and I design them with the key of the various actual materials in them being something that will be good as practice to paint on. The natural forms of mushrooms, the bone of the skull, obviously lots of flesh, but older flesh than this other stuff that we've seen here, so you can do a lot more coloration with it. You know, demon flesh or familiar flesh, lots of hair, things like that. So yeah, but we do all this, we design them in-house.
Ghost Hunters, at some places get to use Color Forge color spray for primer, and I don't think it's available in the US.
It is not available in the US. Shame, isn't it? Color Forge makes great stuff.
Can Jordan bring stickers to UK Games Expo?
Oh, we could probably pack him up with some stickers. I don't think he's going to be able to bring texture trainers.
Oh.
The whole customs issue is too big, and the timing is bad, so I don't know that he'll be able to bring any of that over. So we apologize for that, but later on at Spiel, Essen, we'll be able to have some there.
Mad Malachite, I will be very sad if I find out there's cheesecake. That's
You're not supposed to tell her.
Tell me.
You're not supposed to tell her.
Mini sale? I need to prep my cart. Are you trying to reduce your miniature stock to make room for something else, maybe? I wish I would have known about this before I sent my order yesterday. Mike says, nope, I'm not Donald.
Mo, has your order shipped yet? Should we hold it? You want us to hold it?
Game delay, you've done 7 Monument Hobbies orders, been sent 6 stickers. You should have had 7 stickers. Somehow you've sent me 0 duplicates. Do you track this? We do not.
No, it's random.
Absolutely do not track it. It's completely random.
Unless for some reason the same order person has somehow miraculously gotten all of your orders, but generally it's probably just the luck of the draw.
Remember. Yeah, the sticker gods are they favor you.
Samuel, what's going on?
Half off because I melted part of it with my new death laser. Old Mike Donald had a painting habit.
Samuel, you're saying, do you have any recommendation for the use of glaze medium, like ratios? I'm very aggressive with the glaze medium. I generally start like 10 to 1, maybe not quite that much, you know, maybe like 5, 6, 7, 8 drops of medium to 1 drop of paint. I find it, from my own perspective, I find it easier to just add a little bit more pigment into it if it's a little too thin, a little too translucent. Add a little bit more pigment in rather than trying to put more medium in. So I go heavy medium first and pigment add in as I need. Some people like it the opposite way. I forget what we put on the bottle. The bottle say like 5 to 1. Simply mix with any protocol colors. Yada 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 yada. It doesn't really say. Right. But, you know, anything from, I would say about, you know, 5 to 1 or so onward is really great as a start. Some people do it 1 to 1 and get really good results because it depends on the paint that you're using. If you're using a paint like a single pigment paint like our dark magenta or pyro red or something of that nature, and it's already a little translucent, then it doesn't take as much. If you're using a paint that's very opaque, then you're going to need more. So, you know, it's flexible enough to be able to add as you like, and there's no wrong answer is the way. But if you're like me, just start aggressive, put more in. You know, don't be wasteful. But, you know, I use a lot. I use it as my airbrush thinner and the whole 9. So that with a little bit of water in my paint in the cup for airbrushing is how we've been doing this whole guy. You know, whether it was the transparent paints on the lenses of the glasses or whatever, that's what I've been using through this whole project.
Well, Tomato said, man, I'm getting a model sale from Monument. Zambies is making me a cake for my birthday. I get to hang out with friends at a small convention. Not gonna lie, not sure there's gonna be a birthday to top this one.
See,
It
Wad,
sounds
we
like
got
a
you in
really
mind,
good
man.
day.
We got you in mind. Vector, our Color Forge sprays good. Yes. Yep. Yep. Versus Vallejo, about the same. Is that what the question was?
Yeah, it's this thing jumps. Yeah, okay. Versus
I don't know how you make color, and we're a little
Say-
biased. But I don't know how you would make Color Forge not the top of your list if you wanted to use a hobby rattle can, because there's more volume per can than anybody else out there that I'm aware of. And better coverage, better finish, that whole stuff, right? It's one of the only spray cans that we would recommend on their matte finish paints, because it doesn't cause any weird surface tension issues with the acrylics, that you put over the top of it. Great stuff.
Solitaire said they rock. Mo, you're right, Mo. We were all caught up on shipping today, so Mo's order has already gone out.
Mo, you know a guy. Let me know. Save you some shipping.
Might Element start to stock them? Maybe should we bug them a lot?
What's that? Stock what?
Oh, Are you talking about those primers, Teeny? X-Ray just saw the post of all the folks in the game room. That's not even everyone.
Yeah, that wasn't even ever. Couldn't ever. There were that room goes and makes a
It
dog
makes
leg
like
turn
an
to where
L.
the couch and
Yeah.
the love seat and the table and the TV and the PlayStation and all that are, and there were more people over there.
Yeah.
So I can't get everybody in the photo at once.
I'm
But yeah,
waiting for
it's what do we call it today? Lazy day? What do we call it today?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Lazy
Okay,
Friday. We don't really have a name for it,
We don't
but
have a
like I
name.
said, usually we try to do it once a quarter. Gabe reminded us there has not been one since he's been here, so it's been longer than a year.
I know it's been a long time.
Longer than a year, but
Yeah.
yeah, we like to choose a day, generally once a quarter, where we will. I mean, we brought in pizza today, but at lunch, everybody gets a cut off of work, meaning they don't get to leave the building. They're still on the clock, but their version of work gets to be have fun. So you get to play games, read books, knit, paint, whatever you want to do. Doesn't have to be hobby focused, but a lot of the guys are out there playing like Blood Bowl. Matt brought Nemesis, the tabletop game Nemesis, which is kind of like Alien. So there are a bunch of people playing Nemesis, a whole table full of people playing Commander, Magic, a bunch of people playing video games. So yeah, it's just we've got a full size game cabinet and stuff like that. So eat snacks, hang out, have some lunch, get paid. It's fun.
Texture trainers, Element. Would Element someday be stocking the texture trainer?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Game delay. I don't know how many stickers we have right now.
Yeah,
5 or
definitely. By
6?
mid-June, we just had a meeting yesterday about ramping up the production. We've got 3 new machines coming in, printers. So, and Brennan, who heads that whole department up, has got a plan on how we're building all that out. And so I would think those show up Wednesday. So by the end of next week, that should be all up and running and testing. And so then, by a week or 2 after that, we should have enough stock to where we really start marketing out the texture trainers. We really haven't ever. You guys on stream are really the only people that know about them, other than.
And then in the shorts.
Yeah, in the shorts, because we do them in the shorts. But we've never used anything other than the painting in the shorts, and we don't really talk about them there. We haven't marketed them. So we'll start advertising those coming up in the next couple of weeks. And once you see the advertising rolling, and we'll talk about it in Discord, then you'll be able to get them. And right now, our thought is that they're individually for sale as they are right now. The Crone will be added in when we start doing this, and then there might be a package of all 3, or a way where you could kind of like our paints. When you add 3 together, you get at least 1 free plinth to go with them. So we'll come up with some sort of matchmaking that makes a set deal for you too. But we haven't really come to the conclusion on all that.
But yeah, game delay. We have a bunch of different designs, and we kind of rotate them. So I think right now we have like 6. I don't know. but then we'll have new ones.
Yeah, we typically every few months or so we'll take a look at all the stickers and try to figure something out on how to make new ones.
We've got Snail Unicorn, M. Don't Eat the Paint. 2 versions of that. Maybe a Hobby Nerd. I don't know what else I'm missing. the time the texture trainers are available, we should be all set up in our new place with our new hobby room, so a set of trainers will be a good treat.
Awesome.
And Mike said, I already have 2 sets of the trainers. They're great. Someday I'll prime one and actually try to get better. What are you waiting for? Better believe I'll be buying 2 crones when they drop. The crone is really cool looking.
Oh, she is so good. Crone is so good. They're all great. It's funny. I have to stop and wonder, like, am I saying that because I made them? But then when I'm painting them, I kind of forget where they came from.
Yeah.
It's not about who made them. I'm just having such a blast painting them. The Hunter was my project at WonderCon as I was sitting there painting, and it was a blast working on that the whole time. Turns out we make good stuff.
Oh my gosh, you know what? You want to hear something weird?
What's that?
I didn't have any coffee today.
None.
None.
How do you feel?
Tired. It wasn't intentional. I planned on making some when I got here, but there wasn't any.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And then I was like, well, I'll just go out and get something. And then I didn't have time.
Well, other than some small details, a little bit of airbrushing on the white to close up some of the spots where I've been touching it, you know, rubbing on the thumb tip and things like that here, that's done. Put a sticker on the back, call it a day. How about them apples? I'll varnish the heck out of it since it's so big. But I'm very happy with that. That was a lot of fun. Ginkgo, thank you again so much for purchasing A Bold Sense of Humor. That's absolutely awesome. Why fail tomorrow when you can fail today?
And succeed tomorrow.
Do the shorts have any reference materials, like the training things on the site? The format makes it really hard to get a decent understanding since I only use your mobile. So the shorts, Mike, are only there to show you color in process of which to start with and where to work to. There's not a more in-depth. We do more in-depth tutorials, obviously, here on the stream, and our plan is to make more... I don't know whether to call it short-form content anymore, right? Because short-form content feels like shorts, and they're like 30 seconds or whatever, but more short-form content on YouTube, you know, 15-minute, 20-minute videos, instead of hours long like the stream and trying to go back through all of that. Our goal is to get more efficient at all the other things that we do, have time to come in here, both myself and Jordan, and shoot things that talk about, all right, let's take, you know, these shorts have gotten a lot of attention. Let's go and see if we can't show you how I do this from start to finish and talk about it. Talk you through how we mix the paints, how we use the brush, all that kind of stuff. So all the stuff we do on stream, but packaged for, you know, that YouTube land where you don't have to hunt through it from all the other nonsense that we do.
Cool.
A lot of screaming in the game room.
Something exciting is
Somebody
happening
died.
out there.
Somebody died. How to mix the plaid and put it on the armor. Ghost Hunter, careful what you wish for. I may have done a short on painting plaid today. I'm not going to promise you anything, but it may have happened. And Jen, it looks amazing.
I can't wait to see it.
You would like one on color theory? You get stuck a lot with choosing the correct colors that go well together. Sanger, one of the things that I can tell you with regards to that is, let me see if I still have it here. I don't even know if it's still on this deal, right? I think it might be. color wheel. HSV cylinder. This one, right? I'm going to just do this. Our screen's going to go away and you're not going to see me because this is a very old screen thing that we have. I'll see if we can't work it into something new. But one thing to remember about the color wheel that a lot of artists forget to talk about is really what's called the HSV cylinder. The HSV cylinder takes the two-dimensional color wheel, makes it three-dimensional, and gives you the concept of saturation. Because hue is what the color wheel is, right? It's all of the red, green, blue, blah 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 blah, that kind of stuff. Let me do this to where I might be able to go back into
Sunday
like
Taco. That's awesome. Sunday Taco, really quick to interject, said I won a local tabletop gaming tourney recently, and I took my store credit and bought 12 of your paints. Haven't tried them yet, but I'm looking to replace my dwindling Chimera paints.
Awesome.
Thank you. Congratulations, and thank you.
All right, let's do this. Does that work? Kind of, sort of. Yeah, look at that. Here. Yeah, so this works. So boom. HSV cylinder, but you can see what I'm doing with my hands, which sometimes is important. Right. Oh, hit the wrong button. There you go. All right. So as you notice, around the circle is the color wheel that you're used to, right? You've got cyan, magenta, yellow, and then all of the blended colors that come in between. And so then you talk about complementary colors, tertiaries, trinaries, all of these things that wind up giving you the color selection in a perfect world, right? I don't like that brand of color theory. It does not work well for three-dimensional objects, and I'll tell you why. Because you get a lot more built-in shading and desaturation of color when you paint on a 3D model. So this helps you a lot more, and you'll notice that as you desaturate, as you go down that saturation or towards the inside on the saturation and down on the value chart, all colors work together equally. And that's something that not a lot of people talk to you about. So be aware that as you thin a color, as you desaturate it, because you look at the HSV cylinder, in towards the center, everything is more white. That's your desaturation. And then as you go down the cylinder vertically, it gets gray and then black in the center, because that's tint, tone, and shade. And then as you go to the outside, you start adding more vibrancy and color back into it via the hue, because you start removing the white, the gray, and the black. But because of the way that we paint, we're typically always desaturating colors. You know, like you watch Louise paint, and Louise works at full value, full saturation. Her colors are really bright. And if you're doing that kind of painting, then the 2D color wheel works pretty well for you, because you don't want to put certain colors next to each other, right? You know, like orange and purple right next to each other, little crazy. It works in certain situations, but it can become what we call clown suit. Sometimes you want to know what, you know, you want to look across the color wheel for those complementary colors first, and then start spreading out from there. You don't generally want to go directly next to a color if you can avoid it until later. But with in that regard, once you start desaturating color like we do for military models, for fantasy and sci-fi models, then every color works together, because none of them really grab the eye and provide that contrast by their brightness. They all kind of fade into that gray area. You can get a lot of colors together before you become that clown suit, right? So remember that as you're picking colors, don't get so analysis paralysis that you don't just paint. Because a lot of what you'll find is by painting it on the model and seeing how it looks as you rotate the model, is it too close to that other color? Do I have too much yellow up here and not enough? You'll learn very quickly. You don't have to have formal color theory training in order to know what looks good for what you're going for. And that's really the freedom that all of that thought process will bring you, is you'll just start throwing colors at models like I do. I don't really come in with a plan. I just start throwing color at it. And you'll learn very quickly what you like and what you don't like. Because no matter what they teach you in color theory, you might have color combos you're not going to like personally that don't match the project, so on and so forth. So don't let it bog you down is what I'm saying.
You want to maybe wrap things up right now, and that way we can
say goodbye to everybody?
People before they leave for the long weekend?
Yes.
Okay.
So everybody, thank you so much. The color cake. Yes, exactly. Jen's going to throw all of the links up in chat there. Remember to check us out. We are at the end of our day here. We stream 5 days a week, so if you're new around here, hit that follow button, but we'd love to see you back. Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Phoenix, Arizona time. It's usually me and Jordan. Yeah. Jordan's a trader. He chose to go play and have fun playing games, and I told him he didn't have to be here, so he's gone. But imagine a really cool painter guy over there
Remember who
August-
was here for you today, Chad.
Yeah, remember who's here for you today. I told him that earlier. So remember who really loves you, Chet. But thanks so much. We have a long weekend, so remember there will be no stream on Monday because it's Memorial Day holiday for us here in the U.S., but we'll be back again on Tuesday for those of you that are celebrating a holiday overseas. I know there's a bank holiday in the U.K. Pretty sure there's a Canadian holiday because they copy everything we do. So there's holidays all over the world. If you're experiencing one of those, please have a fun and safe weekend. Don't do anything we wouldn't do. Stick around for a raid. We're going to shove you off into some more great hobby as we go off into the evening, and we look forward to seeing you back here on Tuesday.
Vector, it wouldn't be a surprise if we told you. So.
Adios, gang. Love
Bye,
your faces.
everyone.